Naman. Good day, everyone. Today, I will be presenting my presentation entitled Resource Allocation, a Not So New Dilemma. But first and foremost, let's give some context about resources. Okay. Resources plays a huge role in our world and even in the society we live in. It is where we get things that we need in order to live, either our needs or wants. We get it because of resources. However, resources is also a problem for some reasons. And with that, my presentation will tackle about this. Picture this, a world without anything, without any resources. Can we really survive even in a minute without any? I highly doubt it. Hence, we cannot thrive if there is no resources. Hence, humanity would vanish and life would perish, right? This is the problem about resources. A question lies on how should we allocate resources? Should resources be controlled by a single authority and allocate at their discretion? Or resources should be distributed evenly among the population? This is the question that I'll be answering for this presentation. But before we discuss things first, let me introduce myself. My name is Gerald, and I'll be tackling the salient point that I think best answers these questions. Between the two, I've chosen only one, and I do think that resources should be controlled by a single authority and allocate at their discretion. Why? My answer sounds like autocratic, as someone would have the power to control or allocate our resources. But I do have reasons for this. Here lies my thesis statements that will support my stand or answer. Okay, first we have the resource are given in scarce. Next is resource are not exponentially growing unlike population by Malthusian theory. And equality isn't fair at all as for resources if allocated equally to people. Next is given that resources are in scarce, hence effective resource allocations is a must to maximize it. Okay, this is statement number 1. We live in a world of limited resources that requires choices about how we should effectively allocate those. Resources may appear to be free and finite as the humanity has relied on this ever since. However, eventually this depletes throughout time, hence from overuse of us humans. That is why we have been taught about the principles of economics. We study economics in grade 9, where it can be considered as the science of effective choices, given that resources are not infinite as it is definite. If we distribute the resources equally to people, it would easily deplete the resources and may result for ineffective utilization of it. Next, the Malthusian theory. It states that human population grows more rapidly than the food supply until famines, war, or disease reduces the population. Unlike the population that grows exponentially, our resources are non-exponentially. Sa madaling sabi, ito ay kabaliktaran ng populasyon. This means that resources should be effectively maximized so that we could avoid the misspent of our resources. This is statement number 3. Equality isn't fair at all as for resources should be allocated equity, to the people, When we look at how the structure of society is, we can see how far the middle to lower class to the upper class also, which we call the elites, the 1% of the population. If resources are treated and distributed equally, So hence, even the elites who are literally the richest of the rich would have. And it is not quite right given that there are more people that needs more help, right? Hence, equity should be applied and not equality, as equity recognizes individuals' needs. For the final thesis statement and argument, given that resources are in scarce, hence effective resource allocation is a must for maximization of it. And effective resource management will make sure that every ounce of our resources are used and spent in the best, which results to the benefit of all and make the society to thrive and survive. So to wrap up all of my arguments and to further conclude, we live in a world of limited resources that requires to effectively allocate it. Resources may appear to be infinite as the humanity has ever since relied to this. However, eventually this deflates throughout time and also because of human population. This further calls for our resources to be effectively maximized so that we could avoid misspend of our resources. An effective resource management that is led by an authority or a leader will make sure that every ounce of our resources are utilized to the best potential of it, which results to the benefit of all and make the society to thrive. To divide the resources equally isn't fair at all. I stand on that. As for the society, class structure has a huge division. Resources should be allocated based on their needs, on an individual needs. Hence, a call for equity. And this sums up my presentation. Again, this is Gerald Semana. Thank you so much.